Hi, everybody. It is Nick from Booster, and we are continuing the Quick Conversation series. And we are asking advertising and marketing leaders what they believe the key is to successful client and agency relationships. And I'm here with Simon, and we are, funnily enough, at the Orange Panther Collective, if you hadn't noticed the logo behind us. So, Simon, please, could you introduce yourself and then share with us what you believe the key is?
Sure thing. Thank you. So I'm Simon Hewitt, founder of OPC, as we affectionately call ourselves. It's much shorter, much easier. I am, 21, 22 years in the advertising industry, network agency background, the likes of AMV, likes of Elliott. But set up OPC in 2020, and we are a fully integrated advertising agency, but we kind of work in a collective model. So we sort of are... What once might have been relatively unique prior to COVID is now totally not unique, but we basically have a core team and then we build out a bespoke support around us. So that's kind of us. That's OPC is what we do. We work for a myriad of like lovely big brands and small brands alike. But you didn't ask me about that. So the question in terms of what sort of builds the best relationship in my perspective between, and again, conscious of the language, sort of between I don't like client agency. It's more just kind of like partnership between brand and strategic and creative partner. I think the most important thing really is, so for me, it's kind of getting to a mutually connected integrity, like a level of integrity where both sides see that in each other. And I think to get to integrity, you kind of think, what are the ingredients that make someone look like they have integrity? Is honesty, which I suppose is another way of saying transparency, but buzzword. But honesty, it is a genuine sort of an authenticity and kind of not being around the bush, which I think is different from honesty. It's kind of like being grounded, being human, being normal. There's a load of, I think our industry has quite often been plagued with wonderful personalities, but can give the perception of like we're maybe charlatans a little bit. And I think that I would say OPC we're the total enemy of that. It is all about being very honest, very real, very straight up about stuff, and also worrying about, showing that we worry about the work and the results rather than just showing we worry about how pretty something looks and how smart it might sound. So I think, to get to integrity, you need to have that trust. You need to show that you are grounded. You need to spend time you need to get things wrong, so that you can prove how you fix things when you get them wrong. You need to fall out a little bit to show that you can also make up. Because I think, again, integrity, you need to strain a relationship to understand whether you can then bring it to or push it on to kind of the next level through the pain, right? Because if you never fall out, then you never know what someone's like when you fall out. And so I think it's really important that you have those moments of tension that enable you to further bed in that sense of they've got integrity.
Yeah, great.
So for me, it's sort of all of that. And I think that, also you probably want to like the person you work with. I think there is just a human read, EQ versus IQ. So a lot in there, but I guess all of that put together does build a sense of, right, they've got integrity, I'm up for this. And it has to work both ways. Because I think if you don't think the client has integrity and you're just doing a lot of lip service and maybe a bit kissing ass to get the work through, I think it'll always come back and bite you in the ass. So I think you need to sort of try and set out that both of you believe in the same way of doing things.
Love it. So absolutely, integrity, transparency, trust, partnership. I like that. Can't be scared of having the difficult discussions, but then finding the solution, getting on again, making things work, and getting on with people. I think that's brilliant. Have you got a particular client or some work that you've done recently that you feel embodies all of that?
Yeah, I think there's sort of, I might say there's two because they're connected, and I think the reason I'll talk about the second one is because they're a client who left the first and we're still working with them, and I think that talks to the fact that we've got a brilliant relationship that they took us with them. And I know that kind of happens a lot, but it also doesn't always happen. Quite often you have a relationship, it can get a bit strained, and then when someone leaves, it's a bit of like, thank they're gone, and we move on. Main client is Financial Times. Our biggest client is the FT. So we do the global acquisition work for the FT. We're kind of their lead agency on their core, I guess they're the biggest campaign they do. They do a lot of work, and they do work with other agencies as well, but the primary is the acquisition, and that's what we do. We launched some work middle of last year, and we're now on the third iteration of that, which we've just been briefed on today, which is exciting. And with the FT, so interesting on the integrity thing, right? The FT have an internal creative team. A lot of big brands have internal creative teams. And I also think a way of like reading whether there's a relationship that's really good is if you have a really good relationship with the internal creative team.
Very much so.
And there is that lovely sense of they are very good at what they do. They know the brand way better than you do, but potentially they aren't able to be as objective about everything. And they have this sort of like they're a bit stuck in the bubble.
Yeah.
Our role would be, with the FT, our role was mainly to be, part of it was how busy they are and can they manage everything. Part of it is, are they too, stuck in the world of the FT and you need an objective perspective. Yeah. Part of it is we are bringing different skill sets to the table. So therefore, with all those bits put together, it was deemed that we were the right people to come in and kind of run the acquisition campaign. But we work seamlessly with the internal team. It's not an ego thing. It's no one is pushing each other out of the way to kind of be making more of the work. It just works lovely, seamlessly, effortlessly. But the great thing is it means we do get to steer from a higher level strategic and creative level. And then a lot of the time, the internal team will adapt and evolve the work we've done. Yeah. So, FT, and I think, that is just a creative team, obviously with the marketing team. So different part of the FT, great relationship. We started working with them in 2020 on a 40 grand project. We've just done the global acquisition work, which is a lot more than 40 grand. Yeah, that's just 4.5 years of working through projects, being really on it, building that integrity. They're like, these guys know what they're doing. They're good and they get it and we trust them. Wonderful. So I think FT is best. And then just quickly, The Week, we just recently started work on doing a new strategic positioning and a new creative platform for The Week, primarily in the US, where we do a lot of work. And that's an old FT client. And he's brought us in. And to be honest, people in the future who are owning The Week, they were kind of challenging who are OPC, which is our biggest challenge, is like people knowing us. Yep. But Harry backed us and we just presented strategy to the UKMD and he's like, that's good. Yeah. And the work will be really good. Wonderful. So we just need those opportunities to get in and kind of like show what you can do. And all of that is from having a great relationship with that client 4.5 years ago in his FT and now he's at The Week. Look at that. The proof of when a great relationship is there. Exactly. Then the work comes and the relationship flourishes. Right? Exactly. And I think, I worked at McDonald's for 6 years. McDonald's and Leo's, that relationship is famous for being, and that's not a bad thing. It's a brilliant thing. Yeah. And I think, a lot of what we talk about with you is like making sure you refine and improve on those relationships to ensure that you don't chuck the baby out of the bathwater. Yes. You iterate and improve and refine. And as you say, you have the difficult conversation so that you can then, it's like booster on the integrity score because you've had the tough ones, you fixed it and you move on. Absolutely. And yes, so much. It feels like the simple solution to try and find a new agency, but that's not necessarily the solution, right? There's so much less effort in fixing a relationship than there is the other way around. Exactly. And there's an instinct. I get why there's an instinct. The reason why you just think you do want to change and you want to, brand new shiny toys. But I think, I don't know, someone's probably doing the research somewhere that kind of says, let's look at the difference between fixing the existing problem versus, I was going to say, creating a new one. Maybe that's what you end up doing. But, which wins, which is better? And there are a lot of great agencies, none will be named, who win everything. And they often retain the business for like a year or two because clients realize that that's not the right approach. It's shiny, it's exciting, but then actually, is it right for us long term? No. Yeah. Needs the integrity. Needs the integrity, exactly. And, exactly that. Amazing. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. That was brilliant. It was our slightly longer, quick conversation. Sorry. But it's brilliant because of it. Brilliant because of it. But thank you very much. Thank you, Nick. Alrighty, cheers.